What is up, homies? My name is Felix and I'm here back again with another video for you all today. And today in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a midi trust type beat inside of FL Studio, or really just inside any program that you want if you follow the same tips and tricks that I give you here today. So yeah, a little known fact about me that you guys may or may not know. Midi Trust is one of my favorite bands, like probably ever. And back when I first started listening to Midi Trust, like probably close to 3 years ago-ish now, they were a lot smaller, they had a lot less publicity and stuff, but it's really cool to see a lot more people noticing them and hearing their songs in different places and stuff. I think it's really dope and they're such an awesome band, and if you don't know about Midi Trust, that's all I have to say. Go listen to all their songs right after you watch this tutorial. So yeah, make sure you guys check out my Instagram and my SoundCloud down in the description below, along with playlists of songs I produced, my beats from my Discord, all that stuff you guys already know. The vibes. And now we can get into this video. So the first thing, and probably the only thing you're really gonna need, is a guitar. The other thing that I would say is like second closest to being a necessity is a bass guitar, but I don't even have a bass guitar. I'm just gonna be using plugins and stuff today. Also, I'm pretty sure they do use live instruments for all their stuff, but we're just gonna be recreating it in the FL Studio way. So yeah, guitar is pretty important because you can recreate a bass sound pretty well, but not so much guitar. So yeah. All right, so step one of the process is to open up FL Studio, which we have right here. Then step two is to make the beat. Step three is to export it, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Just kidding. The first thing that we're gonna do is go into the channel rack, which normally you'd hear me say, the first thing we're gonna do is go into the mixer and play our guitar part. But for this, I'm gonna start with the drums because Midi Trust has a very specific drum sound. Well, actually their entire sound is very unique, but basically the way I'm gonna make this beat is I'm going to play guitar over the drums, kind of like a backing track a little bit, and then we're gonna add the stuff onto there. So for the drums, I'm actually gonna go into FPC, which is a little bit weird, but I have been using FPC a lot. I like FPC because the drum kits actually sound pretty nice and pretty realistic, and then also you can mess with the velocities and stuff, and it has tons of different parts of the drum kit too. So it has like the side snare, it has like a rim, it has like the half opened hi-hat, the full open hi-hat. So yeah, basically I'm gonna go to this funk kit. Normally on any Midi Trust song that you listen to, all of the drums are very, very light. There's no like hard hitting drums, no hard hitting snare or anything. It's all very muted. So to achieve that, we can just lower the velocity on everything that we type in. Also, I'm gonna keep the tempo right around 140. I'm just gonna make it like 143 or something. And now we're gonna make a super basic drum pattern. So usually they don't have any like crazy stuff with their drums, a couple little rolls here and there maybe. So the first thing I'm gonna do is lay out the hi-hats. So we're gonna go like this. And now that we have that, we can put our snare in. And then we're gonna turn the velocity way down. And as you can hear, that's a very light sounding snare now. So what we're gonna do is do that same thing with the hi-hats, kinda, but we're going to alter the velocities like this. And then we're gonna hit Alt and then scroll down. And now I'm gonna add the kick in, and the kick is just gonna be a super basic pattern. So now what I wanna do is give the hi-hats a little bit more of a swing feel, so it's gonna be like something like that, something along those lines. So I'm just gonna put an extra hi-hat in here. So now we got a little bit of a swaying going on. And I also want to do Alt and then click to the right. I probably was motioning to the left because the camera's flipped, but just move it to the right a little bit. All right, so now we got this super basic pattern, and what I'm gonna do is just copy it over like this. And now I'm gonna add a little bit of variation here. So I'm going to change this kick and put it here. And then I wanna have like a lower velocity snare that hits before this snare. So we're gonna bring the velocity down. So what I also want to do here is just add a couple subtle things. I'm going to add a snare roll to give it a little bit more realistic kind of feel. I'm going to add in the snare roll right before this other snare, like right here. So we're just going to do it like this, and then we're going to adjust the velocity so that it's like ascending, kind of like this. And then I'm just gonna add one tom at the end here to add like a little fill, I guess you could say, but it's literally just one drum sound. So honestly, I think this is pretty good as far as the drum pattern goes. There's not a whole lot that we really need to add because we want these drums to be pretty simple so that all the like guitar, bass lines, synth sounds, vocals, all that can fit into there. But one thing that I do wanna say is if you're gonna do open hi-hats, so let's put an open hat right here. One thing you wanna do to get it sounding very real is to put a pedal hi-hat right after and then get rid of this one. On an actual drum kit, the way the hi-hat works is that you have the two hats that are like this, and then you have a pedal that makes them go like that, and that's how you get your closed hi-hat. And when that hi-hat is open, you get much more of a crash kind of sound, but you have to close that so you can go back to your closed hi-hat. So when you close that, the sound of those two, cymbals crashing together makes a little bit of a pedal hi-hat noise that's like this. All right, so now we have our drum pattern completed. It sounds like this. I'm gonna hit Control L on this and put it into a mixer. So now that we have the drums down, I'm gonna basically do what I said and use this as kind of a backing track. So I'm gonna go to Insert 2, and then I'm gonna click whichever one my interface and guitar and everything is plugged into. If you don't know how to record guitar in FL Studio, I'd recommend this video. I don't really know where it is, but you'll see it in the cards. I'll leave a link to the video that I made on that, and that will definitely help you out. But yeah, basically I'm gonna connect my guitar. All right, so now that you have your guitar hooked up through FL Studio and everything, make sure your guitar is tuned. So if you're updated to the latest version of FL Studio, you'll have a tuner, but if not, you'll probably have your own tuner of sorts that probably looks something like this. So now that our guitar is tuned properly, I'm gonna basically give you guys some tips on the type of chords that you should be playing for these style of beats. So the type of chords that you want to be playing are, for the majority of the time, probably I would say like 70% of the time, 75% of the time, they're gonna be using major and minor 7th chords. If you're playing the guitar, I'm assuming that you already know how to play guitar, but if you don't, you can check out my video on how to get started playing guitar, and that'll help you a lot with this. But essentially, the chord progression I'm gonna be using today is C minor 7th, B major 7th, D major 7th, and then A major 7th. So it's basically gonna sound like this. A very nice, very beautiful sounding sound, and I think it will go really well over these drums. So also, the thing you want to keep in mind is we can't just have this be a very bland sounding guitar. We gotta make your guitar sound, you know, like a Men I Trust style type beat. So basically what we got to do is got to slap some chorus on there. We got to put some other stuff on there. I'm just going to load up Guitar Rig and, you know, see what I can find that sounds good. So you're probably going to be looking for anything that's like chorus related, or maybe like in the funk/jazz sections. Anything that's going to have a nice like ethereal kind of sound. For the Guitar Rig preset that I chose, I basically went into styles and then funk and soul, and then I chose the clean chorus one, and then I went into the chorus thing, and then I adjusted all the knobs a little bit. I just turned up the chorus, turned up the vibrato a little bit, and then it gave it more of like a wobbly, chorusy sound. So now we have our guitar pretty much down. I'm just gonna put an Edison on this, and then I'm gonna play the drums and then just record over this. And also with your strumming pattern, you don't wanna be super aggressive with it. Like, you don't wanna be hitting chords like this. You wanna really let the audience feel that chorus. So yeah, I'm just gonna record this now. All right, so here we have our guitar part that I just recorded, and now I'm going to take this bad boy and drag it in here. And then we're gonna have to chop it and everything, so I'm going to turn the boost up. And then you gotta make sure that you change it to generic bleeding, and then change the mode to auto, so that if you chop it and slice it and stuff, it all stays the same tempo and that there's no like clicks and stuff. So the guitar sample is not perfectly on beat. We can stretch it a little bit to get it more accurate. If you want to, like, see right here, this is a little bit before the line. What we can do is select the cut tool and then cut right here, and now right click, make unique, and now we can stretch this so that it's after the line. And now we'll just have to adjust like everything after that now as well. So we can make unique with this one, and then stretch this one back so that it lines up with the lines and everything. So for this style, like I said, Men I Trust always uses, you know, live instruments and everything. So there's gonna be human error in there. You don't have to have it right on the line like you do with trap music. But if you'd like to adjust it so that it's all, you know, closer to the lines, if you're way off beat or something like that, you can obviously do that with the whole sample and everything. But however, I think how I have it is probably fine. So now what we're gonna do is add a bass line. And I don't actually have a bass just yet, but I am getting a bass guitar pretty soon, which I'm pretty hyped about. You guys are gonna see that in some epic videos. But however, I'm gonna be using ample bass for this, and it's not the best sound, but I think it'll be all right for what we want to achieve here. So what I'm gonna do with the bass line is just copy the root notes of the chords, which is what you usually do, and then you can add little licks and stuff onto it later on. So the chords that we used were C sharp, B, and then D, and then A. So much to my surprise, the ample bass plugin sounds pretty decent when you pair it with the guitar and drums and everything. I think what I want to mess around with is trying to pitch the guitar a little bit lower so that we can get the bass a little bit lower as well. So I'm going to try to do that now. Okay, so after messing around with the bass line and the pitch and everything a little bit, I pitched the guitar down by 300 cents, and it made the bass sound a lot better, just made it sound a lot deeper. So it sounds like this now. So I think that sounds pretty nice. It's a really cool bass line, and for using a plugin rather than an actual bass, it sounds pretty amazing. So now what I want to do is mess around with some synths and stuff, because I know a lot of times in their songs they'll use some different synth leads or some synth chords and stuff. So I just want to add that in there, you know, as a little sprinkle, a little cherry on top. So you already know we got to pull up the Juno 6 presets. But if you don't have Analog Lab, you can use a million other Juno emulation VSTs out there. I think the Tal Uno plugin is free, and that's like the one that everybody knows about. But also any other plugin that has like some 80s style pads or keys or whatever will do the job just fine. Okay, so I just made a super sick pattern with one of those Juno presets, and it sounds like this. So honestly, I think this is coming together super nicely. It's exactly that kind of style that I was going for here. With the Juno keys, it sounds a little Mac DeMarco-y, but we're gonna tone it down just a little bit so that it's not like in your face. And I think I'm gonna add like a guitar lead or like a guitar like solo or something like that, just to see what we can come up with. So I just recorded a little guitar lead part and it sounds like this. So I'm not going to be playing that throughout the whole song. It's only going to be playing in like certain portions. But the last thing that I think I want to do is take the chords, and I just want to put like a very soft pad underneath everything using those same chords. Alright, so now I have the pad sample in here, and I was kind of going for like a more mellow sound with this. I didn't really want like a super bright pad. And as you can hear, it's pretty toned down, and I'm going to EQ it and everything anyways. So now that we have pretty much everything that we need here, I'm going to mix everything. Basically, I'm just going to take every melodic component, and then I'm just going to EQ it, and I'm going to EQ out some of the low end. But however, the mixing process for this style of beat is very different as opposed to trap music, because with trap music, what you want to do is kind of make your kick and your 808 and like your clap and everything the focus of your beat. But however, with this style, that's very much not the case. So with your melody and stuff, it's safe to leave in like a lot more of the low end, the bass frequencies, but however, you do want that bass guitar to cut through, or you know, bass guitar VST to cut through the mix and stuff. So we want to be able to kind of give everything its own sound within the mix, and also, you know, put a bunch of reverb, put a bunch of chorus and stuff on it. So yeah, once I do that, I'll get back to you guys. And then also, I think I'm gonna put some reverb on the drums just a little bit so that they sound more realistic as well. So at this point in time, you might be thinking, what the heck, man, that looks way more complicated than it needs to be. Well, that's because you're right. Basically what I did was, for whatever reason, I ended up rendering all the drums as one audio clip like this. And then I was like, I think I want to adjust the volume of the hi-hats. So then I just ended up rendering everything like this. So now I have everything as its own individual sample, so I can mess with it if I need to. But then also I rendered out these little drum fills like this. And then I have this one as well. And I'm pretty sure that one is a fill that they've used on like quite a few different songs. And basically all I did was just take the end part of the actual drums that we have and just take out the hi-hats, and it just sounds like that. As you can hear, it's the same. So pretty much now that I have everything mixed the way that I want it and sounding pretty nice, I'm basically just going to take the whole beat and lay it out, and then we're pretty much done. I'm just going to have all the drums come in, and then, you know, have certain breaks here and there, have certain instruments come out. So yeah, I'm going to lay this beat out, and then it'll be pretty much done here. Alright, so at this point, I'm pretty much done with this whole beat. I got the different sections in there to keep it unique and keep it all spicy throughout the whole thing. For me personally, it was very weird to make something in this style because I'm not really used to doing like super simple stuff, but that is like the style that we're going for here, you know, keeping it simple, keeping it nice and fresh. And, you know, being simple is not a bad thing, because obviously when they're writing their music and, you know, writing the guitar parts and the drums and everything, they're taking into consideration the fact that she's gonna have to sing over it as well. So yeah, anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I definitely enjoyed making this beat. Shout out to Men I Trust. They're so awesome. They literally have no bad songs. So definitely go check them out. Make sure to check out my Instagram, my SoundCloud down in the description below, along with plus the songs I produce, my beat store, my Discord, all that stuff you guys already know. And I will see you guys next time.
talk shit, get money, pay